Ferrari is a well-known brand, I guess, which is producing luxury cars. But not only, because not all the people are aware in the world that we produce also engines for our friends of Maserati, which is part of the FCA, Fiat Chrysler Automobile Company. The current production is of around 7,000 cars per year and some thousand engines. We cover 62 countries all around the world, and we have more than 200 points of sales spread in the different countries. The Infor solution has been introduced starting from 2011, when the company decided to move ahead together with the business for a huge re-engineering of our processes. We split our implementation of the ERP in different waves. The first step was done in 2011, and we went live with the first wave at the beginning of 2012, with the focus on supply chain and purchasing, specifically on gestione industriale. After this first implementation, we gave all the responsibility, the entire responsibility for the material handling to an external provider, which is currently still together with us, is currently managing the logistics operations. After this first step, we had a new step at the beginning of 2013, which was the implementation of new supply chain and manufacturing processes in order to support the launch of a new turbo engine family, V6 engine family. The implementation was done in a strong conjunction with our colleagues of supply chain and manufacturing, because we introduced also new production line and a new manufacturing execution system in the production line. For this step, the implementation was quite successful. The result was in line with our expectation. This might be eventually the step to be approached starting from next year. Very heavily, because we currently have something like 200 interfaces, which means processes run not every day, every hour, every minute, because of the process I mentioned before for the supply chain, for example. So we have a lot of processes which are managed through ION. The processes change dramatically. We call the material every hour, so we pass messages to our 3PL in order to let them aware about which are the material needed for the engines or cars that have to be produced in one specific time during the day along the production line. Elena was able to enable the capacity by the purchasing department to define all the possible constraints, and to the supply chain to define again all the potential constraints in order to say for that specific car or engine to be produced, this is the best bill of material with the best supply chain. This is in order to minimize the risk of having lack of material for the production of our product. This was the key point that we have enabled with the implementation of the system. For finance, the idea is to have an overall template for all the finance. The idea is to consolidate everything on one single instance, to have only one method in order to manage the finance activities, in order to control our operations worldwide with only one method. This is also related to the recent IPO that we had. We really believe that with the implementation of LN, for the remaining part of the finance modules that have to be covered or have to be implemented with the Wave 3, we were able to cover completely these needs. Generally speaking, the result of the support we have had so far was satisfactory. In all my experience that I had so far with Infor, one of the most successful point that I can mention related to the way in which Infor manage the relationship with the customer. They are flexible enough to follow the customer needs, or at least to follow our highlights when we have some specific services which doesn't work according to our expectation, let's say.